Welcome back. In our nation's capital today, hundreds gathered for a human trafficking summit. To combat the growing epidemic, the Trump administration is announcing a $42 million budget increase to combat the problem and is appointing an official in their domestic policy office to focus exclusively on human trafficking. Joining us now from our D.C. bureau is Jaco Boyens with the Falkirk Center. Jaco, you were at the White House today. What was the main goal or the purpose of the summit?
Mark, thank you for having me on. The main purpose was to form a coalition and for President Trump to sign an executive order targeting child sexual exploitation, which is a very big deal. It's the first time a sitting president of the United States has taken this kind of an initiative. And the initiative was launched by his daughter, Ivanka Trump. So it was a very well-attended event, but that was the critical focus, to put a target on child sexual exploitation.
What can you tell us about the president's new initiatives?
The new initiative has increased in budget, as you mentioned, but that's increased funding on top of funding that this administration has already increased over the last 3 years, right? With that, Attorney General Barr vowed full support from the Department of Justice. Vice President Pence vowed full support from the whole administration. And then they encouraged all the NGOs that were in attendance to continue to fight the fight and launch some new initiatives, particularly on end-to-end encryption, which now your online platforms such as Facebook, etc., are targeting and moving towards end-to-end encryption, which would make law enforcement very hard in protecting children online.
How big of a problem is human trafficking here in the U.S. and where is it seen the most, and has it gotten worse in recent years?
It has gotten worse because of the internet. You know, it's easy to blame the internet, but it's accessibility, right? It's a massive problem in our country. We are talking about American children sold for sex. Of course, there is a huge problem with international trafficking as well. It's a $150 billion industry worldwide, and it's a $30 billion industry in the United States. So it's a big problem.
Yeah, huge problem. So talk about, are there specific regions of the country where kids are more at risk?
Naturally speaking, you know, your runaway, your foster care child or child in the CPS system is a high-risk child. But today, with profiling online, children in suburbia, in neighborhoods, are soft targets because their situational awareness is very low, right? They're not thinking that the problem is there, and we're finding it in literally Mark every single zip code in the United States. And this is not a fear-mongering tactic. It's just a fact. We're rescuing children in every single zip code. Houston, Texas is currently now #1 city in the U.S. This weekend we're going to have the Super Bowl in Miami. The Super Bowl is also known to be the Super Bowl of sex trafficking. So we had some members of Miami in that summit this morning who vowed that they're doing the best at their ability to combat this crime this weekend at the Super Bowl. But Houston, New York, Los Angeles, all your major hubs that has a lot of traffic through it also become major child sexual exploitation hubs.
And quickly, what kinds of efforts to fight human trafficking will be seen moving forward following Trump's announcements today?
You're going to see a new position in the White House focusing on this full-time, giving full access to intergovernment agencies starting to share information, which you may think would have happened in the past, but it hasn't, right? So now we're going to see bipartisan work, interagency support, sharing details on this issue and making America's children safe.
All right, Jaco Boyens of the Falkirk Center. Thank you, Jaco.